let's go ahead and take a look at Editor Console Pro. Editor Console Pro is a robust and powerful console replacement. It's a powerful way to view issues and details in our code and to diagnose code problems. Editor Console Pro is, as I said, a console replacement. It has robust reporting and exporting. You can export reports. It has robust searching and filtering and even ignoring. So if there's something that you have as a known issue and you want to ignore it, you can set that up. Visible code is shown in Editor Console Pro surrounding each one of the method calls in the stack. And that's really useful because you can look at things, and sometimes when you're looking at just the simple stack trace, you go, I'm not quite sure where that is. And now you can look at it and you can see the source code surrounding that area. And this is across multiple scripts. So if scripts are calling each other, you can see it all the way through all the different scripts. You can also go to any of the lines in the stack trace, so you can actually go and see source at different parts along the way, and you can see what's going on in those scripts. There is remote logging, so even from standalone and mobile builds, you can get remote logging, and then of course you can change all of the fonts and colors, and you can customize the look of Editor Console Pro. To do this, we're going to use a little logger. So let's come back, and I'm going to turn off the touch gestures. I was realizing I forgot to do that. I'm not going to show touches because then when we play the game, we're going to see those dots, and we don't really need them for this point. But if we then come back and look at Remote Logger, I'm going to open this up in MonoDevelop. We can see it's a very simple class here called Movement Logger, and it simply asks us to log movement. It takes a vector3 dot position and then says in the debug log target movement position is position, and that's static, so we can call it from wherever we need to. So it's a very simple class, and the reason we're using that, if I come back to Unity, we'll look at our Viking, and he has a player click to move. So I'm going to go ahead and edit that script. Again, bring it up in MonoDevelop, and if we look down into the player click to move, and we do our check for movement, we can see that we're setting a nav mesh agent destination. So we're saying our agent set destination to our nav hit info, which is where we're clicking in the scene. And then we're saying to the movement logger, just log that movement, and that vector3 is the nav hit info position. It's been running. So we've been seeing it, we've been seeing it down here in the console. And if we look at the console, we can see that whenever we have moved, we've logged our position in the world, or the click position. So that's where our destination is, that we're trying to set the agent destination. Let's go ahead and look at this in Editor Console Pro. And so we can get there by going to, is it Window? Yeah. So Window Console Pro. So this is the same console that we're seeing. So there's the console. Here's Editor Console Pro. We can see the same movement that we have here. And when we click in the console, we can go to that line. So that's the line of the final stack trace. When we do this in Editor Console Pro, at first it starts to look exactly the same. Click on the debug log or the error, so whatever's in the console, and we can see that we go to that line. But if we look more closely, we can see that the stack trace isn't as simple. So the stack trace we have here, click on something, we can see there's a very simple stack trace down at the bottom. The stack trace in Console Pro is much more detailed, so we can see the specific lines in the stack trace, but we can also see the source code that is around it, and we can set this in preferences, whether you just want one line on either side, 2 lines on either side, 5 lines on either side. So it depends how much code you want to see. You can set that, but we can also go ahead and double-click on any one of these calls, and we can see that we're here at check for movement. We can then go to the movement logger, log movement, so we can quickly move throughout all of the scripts that are related to our stack trace rather than just simply moving to the final location or destination. So what are some of the other things? I mean, if you go to Preferences, go to Console Pro Preferences, you can see that you can create logs, you can adjust the toolbar, you can use filters, you can set up ignore values. You can change the fonts and colors. you can back up all of your information. So it's a very complicated and very robust and powerful tool that will help us be able to diagnose our code in our game.